are like, oh my god, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but like if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyway.
So, YouTuber product. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with them. There's some really good and successful ones, and there's some really bad ones. A question I've always wondered is, why does it seem that every YouTuber has merch or at least a product that they're trying to sell to their viewer? Well, to keep it simple, there is a lot of money in selling stuff to your audience. This especially applies to really big YouTubers who have a huge following. Sometimes it really doesn't feel like some of these YouTubers should be selling stuff because their products are absolute dog shit. And if it weren't for their hordes of stands, not a single soul would be buying anything from them. But that's kind of what I want to discuss today. What is it that separates a really good and successful product from the really bad ones? Well, in my opinion, there's 4 main factors that separate a really good YouTuber product from a really bad one. First up is definitely price. Because there is no reason for me to be sacrificing an arm and a leg just to be buying this a tiny ass plushie. So yeah, they should definitely have some reasonable prices. Next up is, does this feel like a genuine brand? What I mean by this, can the brand exist outside the creator? If the creator were to stop promoting the product, would people still go out of their way to buy this product? That is what I mean by, does it feel like a genuine brand? Does it exist outside the content creator? Next is, how does the creator present their product? This could be in terms of marketing, but it's also heavily include the design of the product. Obviously, a creator just taking their logo and just slapping it on a t-shirt is the prime example of what you shouldn't do in terms of how you design and present your product to your audience. A bonus thing would also be, does this feel like an original brand and not just a cheap knockoff or ripoff of a much more successful brand that already exists? Although I'm not a fan because I think it tastes just as good as cough syrup. There's no secret that Prime by Logan Paul and KSI is extremely successful, because in 2023 alone, they were expected to make around $1.2 billion. What is it that separates Prime from other trashy YouTuber products? Firstly, I feel like it begins with their price. Their price is pretty reasonable. I don't need to go to the bank and get a loan just so I can buy myself a couple of flavors of Prime. I can easily buy myself a couple of flavors without having to worry about my card declining and embarrassing myself. And I feel like this is where most YouTuber products fall short, because there is no reason for you to be charging $120 for a freaking plushie of yourself. Unless this thing is sentient and can move around like a robot, there is no ways I'm paying that much money for a freaking plushie, man. Next reason I believe Prime is so successful is because a huge portion of Prime's customer base buys Prime because they genuinely enjoy the taste of Prime, as weird as that may sound. Their sole reason for buying Prime is not just because they're a huge Logan Paul or KSI fan. They genuinely enjoy and love Prime. And I feel like that is a very important component in a successful brand. The brand needs to be able to exist outside of the content creator. I feel like one more thing about Prime which makes the brand so successful is that the fact that Prime feels like an original, authentic brand that took at least some modicum of effort to create. They didn't just take Logan or KSI's logo and just decide to slap it on a baller one day. It genuinely feels like a brand that took some effort to create. Furthermore, they didn't just take the design of an already successful company like Powerade or Gatorade, rip off their whole design. Sure, maybe there's some inspiration. Prime definitely feels like an original experience. One more thing that has made Prime so amazing is their marketing. Like, getting sponsors from Barcelona, Arsenal, and Bayern Munich is pretty crazy. Getting all these huge football teams that are literally the biggest teams in their country is something that's genuinely really impressive. And I feel like it has helped really build Prime's reputation as a genuine, authentic brand. So yeah, props to Prime. Okay, Pokemon's cookie company Mina was one that is a pretty big astronomical failure. And I genuinely don't believe that a single soul outside of her diehard fans or some YouTube reviewers bought a single box. And I'm not really surprised, because if you look at one of the biggest reasons why people hated the cookies, price. And if you look at the price, you'll see that it costs $27.
Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Nigga, what? Nigga, what?
If I'm paying $27 for some cookies, they better be some crazy ass space cookies that take me to a whole another dimension upon consumption, because $27 is absolute madness. And the only reason this brand saw any publicity is because of the fact it was being promoted by Pokimane. Brand does not have any identity outside of Pokimane. This doesn't feel like a genuine brand people would buy from because they love it so much. Next up, these cookies don't feel like an authentic brand because it's literally a copy and paste of another cookie company just with a different logo. You can kind of tell that no effort was put into the creation of this company. You can just feel that it's extremely lazy and an egregious overpriced cash grab. The funny thing about this whole situation, Pokimane shits on the fans. The same fans who allow her to make millions upon millions of dollars. The same fans who are the reason she's able to make a trashy cookie company. Her wealth and success comes from these dudes that she shamed, which is kind of weird because the only people who would buy $28 cookies are these fans that she's making fun of, which is just a bad thing to be saying from just as a person. That's just a bad thing to be saying about other people, but it's also just bad from a business point of view. I don't think it's a really good business strategy to be insulting your customers unless you got some amazing product that your customers can't live without. And it's also pretty hypocritical coming from Pokimane, because a couple of years ago she had this tweet where she called out another streamer a couple of years back for doing the exact same shit that she was doing.